What's good, YouTube? This video is going to be about 3 simple things that you can do to provide yourself a relationship health check to make sure your relationship is still on course with wherever you want it to go. Now, a lot of times we're in a long-term relationship or even a long-term situationship with the person that we love, we care for, but things get off course and we don't really know where things went wrong, right? But too often it's because we're not doing enough of these relationship health checks. A lot of times people become two different people. They grow in different directions when they could have grown together. They just didn't have a chance because they didn't ask for feedback. They didn't have these tough conversations, and they never really considered the process of their relationship more than the present. So I'm going to jump right into this. One of the first things that you can do to give yourself a relationship health check, right, is ask yourself, not even your partner yet, but also your partner. But first, it starts with you. Ask yourself, am I still communicating in the way that they seem to understand? Too often, people cite communication as an irreconcilable difference in relationship breakups or divorce, right? Most of the time, divorce. People don't cite irreconcilable difference in breakups, but that's basically what it is, right? When people are speaking a different language because they don't know how to talk to each other anymore in the way that each other receives it. Right? It's not always abusive language or aggressive language or disrespect. Sometimes people just stop speaking the same language. So the first thing that you can do to give yourself a relationship health check, even before you go to your partner, and then also is ask yourself, are you still speaking the same language? How do you communicate in a way that they understand and they receive? And also, are you receiving what they're saying? Is what they're saying seeming like a foreign language? Is what they're saying connecting with you? Are you able to accept what you're being told? Or are you having trouble because it's not being communicated effectively or appropriately or respectfully? Too oftentimes we pick up alternative languages once we've had a few fights. We pick up alternative language once we've been challenged by each other. We pick up alternative languages once we stop agreeing. And you always need a healthy, safe language to speak to each other. Because too often we go off center when we start talking to each other, and then we've gone in one direction too long. We don't know how to turn back. We don't know how to get that language back. So it's very important to have a safe language, to have a safe tone, and to be aware of the tones and the language that you're using with each other. Too often we try to win conversations. And when that becomes the language you speak, win or loser language, your relationship starts to get more and more unhealthy because someone always feels tainted. Someone always feels a little bit resentful after an exchange, right? You can't even converse with each other because there's always a winner and loser. And when that happens, it's exhausting. And that's how people stop talking, because somebody gets tired of losing and somebody else gets tired of needing to win or needing to defend themselves and get the victory in every conversation. So again, the first simple relationship health check is just to make sure you're not communicating win-lose conversations. You're communicating effectively. You're communicating to solve issues and to help and to bring you closer together. So make sure your conversations are safe emotionally for each other for the most part, and that you understand where each other are coming from and that you're receiving each other's messages in a healthy way, without your own bias, prejudice, or predetermined interpretation of what's really being said. Sometimes we just have to listen to our partners and stop interpreting. Moving on. The second thing that you can do to give yourself a very simple relationship health check is ask yourself, are you still supporting each other's dreams? Right? Does that person still feel inspired and motivated and encouraged by you? Those things are so important in a relationship, and a lot of people forget them. A lot of people just get into this hustle and bustle pattern, especially in America. I don't know how it is in other countries, but in America, we're so bent on trying to succeed, on trying to become something, on trying to acquire great things and become great people, that sometimes we get off of our path of being human beings. We get off of our path of being spirits. We get off of our path of just being two people united for one cause. Right? We get so busy working. We get so busy, doing the everyday crap that we have to do. But we stop looking at each other as our support. We stop encouraging and motivating and inspiring and pushing each other. We stop growing as a couple. So just ask yourself, come together, ask each other, are we still supporting each other's dreams in the same way we used to? Are we still inspiring each other in the same way we used to? Right? Are we still considering what each other wants out of life in the same way we used to? Do we still dream? Too often people get together, and after a few struggles or a few very busy cycles in life, they stop dreaming. They stop fantasizing. They go to work and forget their dreams. And if they don't go home to support, motivation, inspiration, they never pick those dreams back up. But it starts to lead to a very monotonous, dull, and boring life. And then they look at each other and think, oh, this relationship isn't what it used to be. We used to have fun. We used to be excited. Now this relationship is dull and monotonous and boring. When really their life has become dull and monotonous and boring, and it has nothing to do with their relationship. They're unfulfilled because they are, as human beings, haven't actually achieved their dreams or sought to find their life's purpose. Too often when people are unhappy, they look at their relationships. When their relationships are okay, it's their own dreams, it's their own aspirations, it's their own fantasies, right? Whoever they wanted to be, whatever they wanted to become, they've put down. And they start to resent their partner because they didn't get to wherever they wanted to go. They're not excited about life every day. They think it's their relationships, but it's not. It's them. They haven't put enough forward. But sometimes in a relationship, you have to push each other. You have to motivate each other. You have to pressure each other to be everything you want to be. Two great people come together to have a great relationship. Sometimes you have to hold each other up, lift each other up. Too often in our relationships, we forget that both people should still have something that they're striving for. And we should both be encouraging each other to make those things happen and to achieve new heights. So again, a simple relationship health check. Make sure you're still that encouragement. You're still that motivation. You're still that push. You're still that pressure if necessary for your partner to become great, so they can feel energy from you and they can feel your investment in their future as a human being. Not through criticism, not through judgment, but through encouragement, through motivation, and through inspiration, through holding them up through hard times, letting them know that they can do things that they didn't know they could do, reminding them of who they are, what greatness they possess, and helping them, if necessary, reconnect to the dreams and goals that they've had before. So moving on, the third thing that you can do if you're trying to perform a relationship health check is ask for feedback. Too often we're in different places, we've gone different directions, and we don't even know why. We have no idea what we're doing or how we got there. All we know is things are not the same, but that's because we didn't offer feedback and we didn't ask for feedback. And I'm not talking about complaining. I'm not talking about all the shit you say when you're arguing. I'm not talking about the things you say when you're tired, when you're frustrated, when you're yelling back and forth. I'm talking about the things you say when you're in a safe place, when your conversations are neutral or happy or positive. I'm talking about the type of conversations that leave you feeling more together and more close after you get some understanding. I'm talking about discussing what you need from each other. Too often we don't know how we got so far apart, but it's done. It's happened. We are in two different states emotionally. It's very important to ask for feedback from your partner. What can I do to make this a better, healthier, more safe, and more fulfilling relationship for you? In turn, what could they do to do the same? You need to have safe conversational spaces where it can't be expected that whatever they say will be the wrong thing. Too often when we try to have these conversations, one person gets defensive and then it becomes about the other person trying to prove you wrong for having whatever feeling or emotion you had. In these safe conversational spaces, we have to give each other enough space and also acknowledge the right that they have to feel however they feel. Despite our objections to how they feel, despite our disagreement to how they feel, those feelings exist and we need to work through them. But we cannot work through them if we're trying to figure out how to stop them, how to smother them, how to stomp them out. It's not about if they're right to feel that way. It's about if they feel that way and what we can do to show them or to demonstrate to them that maybe they should not feel that way. But it can't be about, well, you're wrong because this is what I do and you do this. It can't be about winning and losing. This conversation about getting feedback has to be about gaining understanding, not winning or losing. This can't be a debate about why they're wrong to feel the way they feel. This can't be a debate or a fight about who started it. It has to be about getting to the solution. A solution-centered conversation, a solution-focused conversation will get your relationship back on track. A win-lose conversation will pull your relationship deeper into a dark place. So when you're asking for feedback, really seek to understand, really seek to know. Take that information, take notes if you need to, write things down. Don't focus on where your partner felt wrong or the things that they said that that you didn't agree with. Focus on what you can work with. How much of what they say can you affect? How much positivity can you bring into the list of crap that they give you about you? So do your best to come to this conversation without your ego. Exchange ideas on how you can both be better in the relationship and show up better for each other to be closer. No one wins this conversation. Both just gain an understanding and maybe get back to a language that they both understand. Take suggestions from each other. It doesn't mean that you come away from this conversation and do everything right. It means you take everything on their list or everything that they mention into consideration and really reflect and really ask yourself about what you've been offering in this place. Not necessarily focusing on the things that you think that you do well that they're just wrong about, but focusing on those things that you can honestly say you could do better at. So do with this what you will. I hope that helps. Follow me at KFIC24 on Instagram. I'll get with y'all later.